Hey y'all, it's Amanda, and today we're going to be touring the garden, and I'm going to show you the plants that are absolutely thriving in triple degree temperatures. Okay, so it is 100 degrees outside. Literally the gates of you know what have opened up, and we are getting our full-blown intense summer right now in the North Texas area. We haven't had much rain lately, although we have had more overall through the summer, but not much. We're still in a drought. And honestly, a lot of the garden is really feeling those temperatures and that drought. But not everything, because there's a few things that are doing absolutely amazing. So today I want to take you on a walk through my garden and show you the plants that aren't just surviving this heat, they're actually thriving in it. And if you garden somewhere with hot summers just like we do in North Texas, these are the plants you may want to consider adding to your garden. And if it's looking amazing with this kind of heat and lack of rain, that's something that has earned a spot in my garden. Okay, we're starting over here with Black-Eyed Susan, also known as Rebecca. This is a perennial in my area. These are bright golden yellow flowers with deep chocolate brown centers. They add a lot of cheerfulness to the garden. I have these in multiple places throughout my garden. They definitely create like kind of a natural meadow-like vibe. They definitely have a cottage garden vibe, whimsical, wildflower-esque. And these guys bloom their heads off for weeks and weeks. I love them. They are hardy in zones 3 through 9. Their height is about 2 to 3 feet tall. These are fully mature and they're probably a little over 3 feet tall. And they do like full sun. They're cast in shade right now, but starting at noon, they get sun for all the rest of the day. This faces west, so they get the hottest sun of the day. So let's talk about why it thrives in this area. It is extreme, it has extreme heat tolerance. So like I was saying, it gets the hottest sun of the day and still keeps on going. It's drought tolerant once established. It has an extremely long blooming season, and it's a native plant that can handle really tough conditions. And why I love it, because even after weeks and weeks of being in this really rough temperatures and lack of rain, look how amazing it still looks. It's absolutely gorgeous. I also love that it has the whimsy in that it catches in the wind. And you can see that it catches in the wind and blows around, which is absolutely beautiful. And it is constantly covered in pollinators. Pollinators love this Black-Eyed Susan. Okay, now we're gonna catch this next guy, my cherry Choco Latte hardy hibiscus. We're catching it on a non-blooming day, of course. But this is one of my favorite plants to deal with in the hot summers. So this hardy hibiscus produces enormous soft pink flowers with rich burgundy centers that can be nearly dinner plate size, so like this big. It gives the garden a tropical feel without a tropical climate. And you can even see on this plant that its foliage is absolutely amazing. It's not your typical green. I got a wasp hanging out over here. It's not your typical green. It's got some dark chocolate colored leaves as well. It's hardy in zones 4 through 9. Its height is about 4 to 5 feet tall. This is a fully mature plant. I think it rests a little bit below 4 feet for me, and it does love full sun. So why does it thrive in this area for me? It loves intense summer heat. When it starts getting hot, this guy just gets better. It blooms when many other plants have slowed down, and it handles periods of drought once it's established. And why I love it, this is one of those plants that always gets attention. It actually seems happiest during the hottest parts of the summer. It is a focal point in the very front corner of my front garden beds because it is such a wow factor when it's blooming. We just happened to catch it between bloom cycles, but I can see more than 20 buds getting ready to go. Okay, next on my list is orange peel Cestrum. This is actually a plant I bought on whim on clearance many years ago. And boy, am I glad I did. because it is absolutely stunning. It has clusters of bright orange tubular flowers that cover the shrub through the hottest months of the year, attracting hummingbirds and butterflies. It is constantly covered with pollinators all over it. It kind of blooms in batches. So this branch just finished blooming, but over here, this branch over here is getting a bunch of new blooms and getting ready. And there's another branch over there getting ready with all of its new blooms. So it kind of blooms in patches instead of all at once. Its hardiness is zones 8 through 11. It can be grown as an annual elsewhere. This guy dies all the way back to the ground every season for me, so I cut it all the way back and then it comes up again. Its height is about 6 to 8 feet. I would say mine, because it dies all the way to the ground, only gets about 5 feet tall at the most, and it loves full sun. Why? It thrives in our heat. It loves heat. It loves humidity, and I'm literally dripping as we're talking. It continues blooming throughout the entire summer, like I just described. It blooms in patches throughout the summer, but it's always blooming, and it's very drought tolerant once established. Why I love it. When everything else starts looking tired, this shrub is full of life with its bright green foliage and these beautiful orange tubular flowers. It is just such a fun plant to grow. I love this one. I'm actually considering digging this up and moving it to a new portion of the garden because it is so large and in charge that I feel like it needs more of its own separate location so I can enjoy it as a whole as opposed to kind of stuffed up in this small portion of the garden. Okay, next on my list is sparkling Amethyst Verbena. And this is new for me this year. I don't actually grow a lot of Verbena, but last year I had heard another gardener in the North Texas area talking about how well sparkling Amethyst Verbena did for them during the summer. So I had to try it out, and wow, y'all, it is absolutely gorgeous. Its soft clusters of lavender purple flowers seem to float above the foliage, and it definitely has that effect, and bloom continuously all summer. I have not done any deadheading, and this has got to be either the third or the fourth flush that it's giving me this year. This is hardy in zones 7 through 11. I will say, I think for me, Verbena is kind of hit or miss on coming back or not. So we'll see how this does. This is my first season growing this, but oh my gosh, it's absolutely gorgeous. Its height is about 12 to 18 inches, and we are getting close to the 12-inch range back here. Why it thrives in our area. It has excellent heat tolerance. It's very drought tolerant, long blooming season, and a pollinator favorite. And I just love seeing this cool purple tone when it's so hot outside. Why I love it, it fills empty spaces with color and never seems to stop blooming. So it actually roams and weaves its space. So all of this, and it goes all the way back that way a good 6 feet. All of this space is usually fairly open, and it has done a beautiful job trailing through it, dealing with weeds, and just really adding a wow moment to this garden when truthfully a lot of things are looking terrible. All right, next on my list is Powis Castle Artemisia. So instead of flowers, this plant shines with finely textured silver gray foliage that adds contrast and brightness to the garden. You can see its contrast from a traditional green color. Just so unique, so unusual. It's hardy in zones 4 through 9, and its height is about 2 to 3 feet tall. This has been here for multiple seasons and is fully grown and really fills in this space beautifully. I love how it softens the corner of this planter. Why it thrives in this area. It loves hot, dry conditions, extremely drought tolerant. It's actually deer resistant for those of you who deal with deer, and a very low maintenance shrub. I basically just let it go and then I cut it back at the end of the season and it all comes back again. So absolutely beautiful. Why I love it, every garden needs foliage plants. Can't be all flowers all the time. And this silver color makes all the surrounding flowers really stand out. I don't think that this orange peel Cestrum would be as beautiful if it didn't have this contrasting Artemisia beside it. It really sets off other plants. All right, this next one's a little bit harder to see because it's kind of tucked into the ground, but this is a new to me this year. This is Jolt Purple Dianthus. I grew it from seed, and it is its first year, and it just keeps going and going and going. Whereas most of my other Dianthus has stopped blooming for the time being, this Jolt purple is just really putting on a show. It has dense mounds of blue-green foliage that are topped with vibrant magenta purple blooms that bloom continuously, and it surprised me so much that they're just doing so beautiful at this time of the year. It's hardy in zones 4 through 9, and its height is only about 12 to 18 inches. I need to cut back all of this calla lily foliage so that this will thrive a little bit more. I mean, it's even not getting all the sun that it could get, and it's still doing beautifully. Why it thrives, it's surprisingly heat tolerant for a Dianthus. It's a repeat blooming plant and pollinator friendly. And why I love it, most people think Dianthus is only for the spring, but this variety sticks around a little bit longer. So that's really exciting, and I love this bold color during the summer. Okay, next I have marigolds, specifically cocoa marigolds or giant mission yellow marigolds, taller varieties of marigolds. So these aren't your typical bedding marigolds. They grow anywhere from 2 to 4 feet tall with huge ruffled blooms on long stems that are perfect for cutting, and it's really fun to be able to get an additional cutting flower during the summer. These are annuals, so they're not hardy anywhere, but you can let these flowers mature on the plant and then harvest these seeds and have them for years to come. They grow about 2 to 4 feet tall, and they do prefer full sun. Why they thrive in this environment: they love extreme heat. They bloom continuously. I mean, these are stunning. They're excellent cut flowers and very easy to grow from seed. I grow all of my marigolds from seed now. Why I love them: the hotter it gets, the happier they seem to be, which I love it. They just keep producing flowers. Sitting down and I'm seeing that my armadillo friend has been digging around in my Vinca, which is unfortunate. But here we are on Vinca, one of my other favorites for this time of the year. They have glossy green foliage that stays nice and clean, and it comes in a wide variety of colors. This year I decided to plant in an ombre style, so it goes from darker to lighter in tone. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I actually grew all of these from seed, which was a huge money saver. These are annuals, so they are not hardy. They're not going to make it through the winter. However, they do reseed themselves, which is really nice. And when the seedlings pop up in the spring, they are very distinctive, so it's easy to just let them go or pull them out if you don't want them. The height is about 12 to 18 inches tall, and these, I have a few that aren't looking super great right here, but a lot of them have gotten pulled up consistently by my armadillo, so that's part of the issues. But those that have stayed in the ground are looking absolutely beautiful. So why it thrives for me in this area: it's one of the most heat tolerant annuals that you can put in the ground for the North Texas area. It handles drought well, it continuously blooms, and they're very low maintenance. I actually planted them because I planted these colors specifically because I think it bridges summer into fall so well, because these will bloom their heads off until my first frost. Why I love it: if someone asked me for one annual that can survive the Texas heat, Vinca would be the very top of my list. If I could only plant one annual for the summer, it would be Vinca, hands down. All right, next on my list is Autumn Fire Sedum, and it is right here. It's a thick succulent foliage that stays attractive throughout the entire summer before producing large flower heads that mature from soft green to rosy pink and deep red. It's such a cool perennial, and it loves this kind of weather, but it transitions really well from summer into fall, which I love that. This is hardy in zones 3 through 9, and it grows about 18 to 24 inches. This particular sedum has been here 2 seasons, so I don't think it's fully mature in its location as of yet. Why it thrives: it stores water in its leaves, it's extremely drought tolerant, great late season interest, and it is a pollinator favorite. When these start blooming, all these blooms, it is covered in pollinators. Why I love it: this plant looks great even before it blooms. As you can see right here, there's nothing blooming on it, and it's still a very cool looking plant. And it's one of the easiest perennials to grow. It's very easy also to propagate and make more plants out of this, but it is an absolute favorite of mine. Okay, next on my list, and probably one of the plants I get asked about the most, is Limelight Hydrangeas. These are huge cone-shaped blooms that emerge lime green before fading to creamy white and eventually blush pink as fall comes through. And it is absolutely stunning. The hardiness is zones 3 through 8. The height is about 6 to 8 feet. Now, for those in the North Texas area, this gets morning sun and afternoon shade, and it does really well with that combination. I would not suggest putting it in full-blown, full sun in the afternoon. Why it thrives? It's more sun tolerant than most hydrangeas. When you think of hydrangeas, you don't typically think of them as sun tolerant at all. It's a reliable summer blooms, and you can see, I mean, these are absolutely stunning. Very cold hardy, so if we get some really intense cold weather, it still does great. And long lasting flowers. Why I love it: it's a showstopper. It stands out, it's wow, it fills a large area. I absolutely am obsessed with it. If you think hydrangeas can't handle a Texas summer, Limelight just might change your mind. All right, you all, those are the ones that are just doing great in the garden. You can see some more of the black-eyed Susan here. It's important to evaluate your garden at the roughest times of the year. What's doing well, what's struggling. And it's this time of year where I really start seeing some of the plants that are extremely tough plants start to do beautifully. And it reminds me that I need to repeat them in my garden. So I hope today's video has been helpful, letting you guys know a little bit more about these plants, seeing them in real life in my garden, seeing how they can grow and change over time, and hopefully some items that you can add to your garden. All right, you all, as always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.